Every year, thousands of HSC students dream of achieving a band 6, which basically just means to get 90 or above in your subjects. But how do you actually get there? After helping 100 chemistry students transform their HSC results and seeing firsthand what actually works, I've uncovered the habits that differentiate the top performers from the rest. Hello, I'm Jeff. I'm the founder of Catalyst Chemistry, and in the last 12 months, we've helped 100 students through our results-based program to achieve high range band 6s and many 99 plus ATARs. In this video, I'll be talking through the 6 habits that HSC chemistry students have used and will continue to use to band 6 subjects reliably in the HSC. These are the same habits that I've personally seen my students use to crush their goals in one of the hardest HSC courses. So whatever subject you're studying, this actually does still apply to you, and I'm sure it'll work the same, if not even better. If you are serious about success, which is why I imagine you clicked into this video, then you're in the right place. With the new year upon us, this is where it starts. Let's get into it. First habit is finding your why. Before you even think about study schedules, past papers, or any of the year ahead, you need to determine why are you actually going through this whole struggle of the HSC. Is it to get into a dream university course like medicine, law, or whatever it might be? Are you doing it to make your family proud? Or maybe it's just to prove to yourself that you can do it. To be clear, you don't have to know exactly where you want to be in life to have a why. But the harsh truth that I want you to get into your head right now is that without a firm enough why, the motivation to stick through this very, very long year is going to fall away and fall apart very quickly. On those tough days where your motivation is low and everything just feels like it's going wrong, it's your why that is going to pull you out and pull you through those days. So as an exercise right now, pause the video. After this, I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to write down all the reasons why you're actually going through this year of the HSC. Ask yourself, why does getting a band 6 actually matter to me? Be specific, write it down. Once you've done that, continue on through the video. Now with your why written down on a piece of paper, you have your compass for the year. Whenever you're down, whenever you're out, you look back at the compass and it will point you in the direction where you need to go. Habit number 2 is starting early and staying consistent. The number one most common regret at the end of the HSC year I hear from my students is I should have started sooner. I should have actually locked in from the very start of the year. As I'm posting this video on New Year's Day, I get it. Term 1 feels still pretty far away, a little bit distant, but the truth is the earlier you start, the easier things will get later on in the year. And the reason for this is because of the compounding nature of your study. This whole concept of consistency over time is summarized beautifully in this book right here. It's a very common read, but a great entry-level one, even if you're not a reader, and it is James Clear's Atomic Habits. Personal favorite for anything study related, consistency related. It's a great starting point and a solid investment of your time in these holidays just to set up the systems in place ahead of a massive year ahead. So not a paid promotion, but if you struggle with consistency, amazing read. And if you don't want to read it, I'll summarize the 2 biggest takeaways from the book right now. The first major takeaway is summarized by a single quote, and it is so perfect. James Clear writes, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." In other words, it's not just about dreaming of this band 6 or dreaming of a 99 ATAR. It is about sitting down and making sure that you have the habits and routines in place from an early stage that incrementally move you over time towards a band 6. That is your system. And that leads me on to the second main takeaway from the book, which is the number 37.78. My absolute favorite number. This is probably the most important figure from the entire book. If you improve 1% per day for an entire year, you'll be 37.78 times better than you were where you started. As you can see, it's tracked on the graph going upwards this way, as opposed to if you get 1% worse every day. So putting those 2 in context, if you put systems in place and you do the same things that move you towards your goal every day, you'll become exponentially better over time, and that will lead to you achieving goals that you could not even fathom being possible. Habit number 3 is to study with direction. Picture this, you're trying to get from Chatswood to Central Station. You would be stupid to just start walking because someone told you walking is how you get to Central. Instead, what's probably a bit more clever is that you would check a map, you would figure out the best means of moving, and then you move. You'll need to find the right train line in the right direction, and then you would hop on the train and go off at the fastest speed possible. You'd get there in 30 minutes compared to a 3-hour walk. Studying for the HSC is no different. If you don't carve out a clear path to get to where you want to go, all the effort that you put in walking in some random direction is not going to mean anything. In fact, it could make things worse if you're walking in the wrong direction. So where is the map that you need to consult to figure out the best path through the HSC? Of course, it is your syllabus. Now, the syllabus will be different for each course, but the premise is the same. This is your map that will take you to Band 6, and each syllabus dot point along the way is like a train station you have to pass through on the way to your Band 6. So let's say you're about to start HSC chemistry or prelim chemistry, and your first inquiry question is about properties of matter, and the first dot point is to explore homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures through practical investigations. And the first sub dot point is to use separation techniques based on physical properties. So in this whole dot point, they've outlined all the things you need to know. You need to know what a heterogeneous mixture is, what a homogeneous mixture is, so you should be able to define those. You need to know all the different separation techniques. There are several that are clearly defined in the textbook, so you'd be basing your study off this, and you need to know what physical properties are too. All of this in context, you also need to know the practical investigations you will perform in order to assess all of these different definitions. So, having carved out the specific dot point you're looking through, you then need to align your study activities to actually dive into that. So you read through your notes, you attempt practice questions around this specific dot point, and then you can figure out whether you understand this or not. Finally, you can color code your progress through the syllabus using a technique called traffic lighting or stop lighting. Say for example, I found a dot point really hard to understand. I'm going to code it in something like a red color. Or if I found it a bit easier, I might use orange. And if it was really easy to understand, I think I get it, I'm just gonna leave it in green, meaning I don't really have to look at it again. Having a system to prioritize what's going well as opposed to what isn't means that you'll be able to work on your weaknesses quicker and actually target them very intentionally. So to summarize, when you study with direction, everything you do pushes you towards your end goal, your big why. No energy is wasted, and the time you get back can be reinvested into recharging, studying more, and ultimately achieving significantly better results. Habit 4 is turning your mistakes into mastery. Another hard truth. If you're making the same mistake twice, you have not learned anything. And you must understand that this is no one else's fault but your own, and you are the only one that can change the outcome the next time this mistake might happen. This is so important because when you're going for a Band 6, you just cannot afford to lose any marks carelessly. That's why I tell my students, mistakes are not failures, at least the first time when you make them. They're actually opportunities for growth. You need to rewire the way you think about mistakes and understand that the first time you do anything, it's actually going to be complete rubbish. Think back to the first time that you fried an egg. It was probably burnt beyond belief, it had eggshells all through it, rubbish. And then if I asked you to take an exam on frying an egg the next day, do you think anything would improve? Of course not. Now, what if I gave you 100 days to prepare for this exam and you didn't cook another egg for the next 100 days? Do you think it would improve again? No, of course not. It'd be the exact same outcome, rubbish. But in those 100 days, if you cooked 100 eggs, improving one thing each day about the way you cook the egg, do you then think that you would improve how you fried that egg? Of course, it'd be infinitely better. So then when it comes to your study, you have to do the exact same thing. Every student who's done what I'm about to tell you to do has exponentially improved and done better than the rest who haven't done this. And that is to start a mistake journal. In this journal, you're going to track two things. The questions that you've gotten wrong before or lost any marks on, even if it was half a mark, as well as corrections to those questions that would allow you to score full marks the next time you see the exact same or similar question. So once you've inputted a question, your first task is to understand, why did I get this wrong? Was it a silly mistake? Did I misunderstand something? Did I misread the question? Based on why you got it wrong, you would then go on to write a full mark response as the correction, allowing you to then have the blueprint to replicate full marks the next time you see the same question. As you go along through your study, you will accumulate a whole table or book of these mistakes, and by targeting these specific mistakes every time you sit down to study, your study is targeting your exact weaknesses, and by studying around these weaknesses, you will improve faster than your classmates. When you stack this with the consistency we talked about in the last habits, not only do you eliminate silly mistakes, but you become much more confident and adept at addressing the harder questions that use several concepts that you may have mastered in a simpler context, all bundled together. To tell you the truth, the difference between a Band 5 and 6 student isn't actually perfection, it's not being a genius, it's just being able to cut out all your mistakes and being relatively confident to tackle something just at the limit of everyone else's capability. So every mistake is an opportunity, track them, learn from them, and never make them again. That is how you go from Band 5 to 6. Habit 5 is to surround yourself with the right people. So the first 4 habits are focused around self-mastering the habits you have to do on your own. And that can take you to a certain level, but there comes a point where you actually have your own ceiling. And that's completely okay. Everyone is going to be able to independently drive themselves so far, But if you want to go to that next level where you are trying to level up from a higher range band 5 to a band 6 or a band 6 to a higher range band 6, the game slightly changes. There comes a point where it's not just about you, but it's also actually about the people you surround yourself with. If you're trying your very best to work towards band 6s in your subjects, and the people around you aren't sharing that common goal with you, for example, they don't actually want you to succeed because they're trying to compete with you, or because they're just not as motivated or driven as you because they don't want to get into as difficult of a uni course as what you're aiming for. If you find yourself in a situation like this, it's almost as if you're trying to climb up a mountain with a bag of rocks in your backpack. Instead, if you surround yourself with people who are supportive, like-minded, and share your common goal, what you'll find is they actually push you up the mountain. They'll lift you up, keep you motivated, and make sure that you accomplish what you set out to do. There are two main categories of people you can look for who will lift you up in order to take you to your band 6. Group number 1 is made up of peers who are similarly driven to achieve HSC success. Would you rather someone who complains about every moment of the HSC and tells you how bad it is, or do you want the person who truly believes that this exam is a big opportunity for personal growth, development, and success, and has the ability to actually execute on the things that they say they're going to do? I can tell you right now that when you support yourself with a group of people from this type of personality, the difference in your trajectory will be unfathomable. The second group of people you then want around you are people who've treaded the path you're about to go down before. And for this group of people, you have to be very careful who you choose. You don't want the people who just travel their way through HSC biology and they're telling you, oh, it was a difficult course and you can do this to study and here are some of my handwritten notes. No, you don't want that. You want people who have walked down the path and completely torn it up. You want people with band 6s, with higher range ATARs, who even state ranked. Because the role of the mentor or the role of this person who's walked down the path is to make it easier for you to walk down the path and also to lift your ceiling. Sometimes all it takes is just one person telling you that they believe in you to do what they did and you can go and do it. So then the question is, how do I find this group of people that are going to support me through the HSC? You can go through your school if you have a few classmates who are relatively motivated and a good group of teachers around you, but unfortunately this isn't always the case. So the next best place is looking online. Because you've made it this far in this video, I'd like to open up our closed Catalyst Chemistry Discord server to anyone taking chemistry. Perfect place to build out this little support network of your own, where you can connect with students who are also shooting for that band 6 in chemistry. On top of that, we actually have band 6 mentors in that server who will be posting weekly chem questions, resources, and doing their absolute best to answer every single one of your questions. To tell you the truth, this community isn't for everyone, but seeing that you've watched this far into the video, I trust that you're probably not in that category. So to get access, you just need to fill out a short form in the description, and once you've filled it out, you'll get a Discord link that will take you into the server. It's completely free. We want to see each and every one of you succeed. So to summarize, surround yourself with the right people and you'll be amazed how far you'll go. The sixth and final habit is to follow a proven blueprint. My question to you is, if you could choose to take the HSC with the answers right next to you as you write the paper, would you do it? Let's be real. Of course you would. Obviously you can't have that in your exam, but the next best thing is having seen all the questions in your exam beforehand and having prepared answers for them ahead of actually sitting the exam. And that's pretty much what Catalyst Chemistry does for each and every one of our students. Our program is designed to show you exactly what to focus on, what you need to prepare, and how you can cut out all those mistakes that the students who are getting band 4s and 5s make so that you can get to that band 6 that you are dreaming of. When it comes to HSC, particularly with difficult subjects like chemistry, it is ultimately a time game. Why would you waste your precious time trying to decide your own little path when you can just follow a system that has taken students like Emily to 98 in her HSC chemistry last year, state rank equivalent, so close to state rank, or Lucas, who got a perfect ATAR with 96 in chem, 99.95, or be like James, Nirav, Nadish, and Dylan, who all accomplished 96 in HSC chem as well. On top of this, our team is stacked, like I genuinely mean stacked, with the best chemistry tutors in the state. We've got state ranks, 99 plus ATARs, and years of teaching experience to make sure that you are best supported through your journey. So if you'd like the absolute best chance of a band 6 in HSC chemistry, you can enroll now for term 1 through the link in our description. It'll take you to our website where you can have a quick look at what we do, and there's an enrollment form there where we just fill out and we'll give you a call in the coming days. And if you're watching this later in the year after term 1's finished, we do start our program 3 weeks before school term, so in the holidays for each module, and we'd love to help you out as well, even if you're joining us at a slightly later date. Don't take it from me, take it from our 50 plus 5-star reviews and our student results last year. We both know you're capable of doing it, but the question is, how good of a chance are you going to give yourself at this year? Because to tell you the truth, you only have one shot at this HSC thing, And the earlier you start giving yourself the best chance possible of success, the larger that chance of success will compound, and the more likely you are to get to that band 6 or 99 ATAR, whatever you're aiming for. That's the truth. So if you enjoyed this video, and particularly if you're taking HSC chemistry, make sure that you click the subscribe button to see all our band 6 level content to take you towards your goals. If you want more bite-sized pieces, check out our Instagram in the comments, where we'll be posting shorter form content which is a bit more digestible, as well as exclusive updates and events just for you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.